should practitioners know about AI before implementing a solution in their organization?
I would say the first thing is make sure you're solving a real challenge, right? There's a lot of shiny objects out there, and there's a lot of shiny object syndrome out there. And so make sure you know what you're looking for and why. AI does a lot of things. It's more of a toolkit than a tool. And so you've just got to go in with your eyes open there and not start with the technology. Ask better questions, which is something I tell everyone, whether you're purchasing AI or you're prompting ChatGPT, ask better questions.
Can you give an example of some questions like that, Bob? Because,
Yeah,
a lot of practitioners have, their day jobs, and the
yeah.
field is just moving so quickly, it could feel like they're so far ahead. I don't even know what to ask. So maybe just roll
Yeah.
off a couple of them.
So, yeah. So, I mean, in practical terms, when you start your RFI and RFP process, there should be a whole new section or segment of questions around the AI itself. How is it trained? Where did the data come from? How are you doing your testing? And a lot of times these days you'll hear the term evaluations or evals. So evals are done in pre-production as well as production to the points that were made earlier. You've got to continuously sort of monitor these things so that you, as your in-house team, can catch things as quickly as possible. And so that type of assessment needs to happen continuously. But start asking the solution providers exactly how the models were trained, where the data come from. Are you checking for all of these things? Are you checking for is your data explainable? Can you show me in layman's terms, how this works? We're not expecting every buyer to have the technical chops to ask, excruciatingly detailed questions. However, you can feed those questions to the solution provider and then, have someone else help you sort of interpret some of those answers. But you've got to really understand how it works and how they continually train it, because those models are constantly being updated, right? They're constantly evolving. And so whether that's on the solution provider side, as they continue to push, new features and add new capabilities in the model, or you are now using it as the talent acquisition team, for example, or the vendor management team, you're looking at the results. But again, as soon as you start adding your own data to that model, the outcomes are going to be different, right? So you've got to monitor it before it gets to you, and you've got to understand what's going to happen,
Sure.
after you've put it to use. So it's an evolving thing, these algorithms, right? So you've just got to pay attention, and it goes back to what Manish was saying before about trust. I mean, trust is foundational for all of this. If you can't trust what went into it, why would you trust what's coming out of it?
Focus on the problem, right? Like, actually understand the problem, and like that is the key, right? Not the tool, not the shiny object, but hey, here's my problem, and does this AI tool solve this problem fully, partially? While solving it, does it create other problems for me? So yeah, I agree with that. It's the mindset has to be like, hey, this is the problem I'm trying to. The problem is not to solve. My leader came to me and they said, hey, what AI tool are we implementing? So you know what, I need to go get on the AI tool. That's not a problem you're solving. So.
Right. No, that's a great point. And that's even at Flextrack, we really focus on practical use cases, most common use cases. If we're demonstrating or talking about our AI capabilities, it's, industry. Here's a problem we see in the industry. Here's how this tool or that tool can solve the problem.
Obviously, AI transformation is a big deal, and there's a talk, if you don't transform or adopt AI, you'll be left behind. While it is true, we must exercise caution. And how do we measure the return on investment, right? Let's say we are spending so much amount of money on this tool. How easy is that to measure, right? Is this really adding value to my business, right? And how quickly how do you reasonably create a good business case to your CFO? But that's an important question to ask to a vendor. How can you help me? How can I measure your outcome? Right? That's if that's possibility, that's in my view, it's the number one question to ask. And then second, this is in a more cautionary thing, because a lot of times data is data. Like in our domain, there's a lot of public data is available too. And we also, a lot of many companies use these large language models, and there are not too many of them, very few of them. Now, while you adapt to this publicly available information or whatever available information out there in the market, and these few large language models, right? Make sure, is there a potential way to protect your own USP, right? If you and your competition is doing the same thing, how do you protect your USP, right? I mean, it doesn't apply to all use cases, but in some use cases, right, you need to be very, very careful. If this is part of your core offering, how do I protect?